What's up, guys? Thanks as always for supporting the show. It would mean a lot to me if you would take a second to scroll down and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more of our videos. Also, make sure you follow us all over social media so you don't miss any of our content or show announcements. Jalen Green and his jump shot. He's going to be able to get that pull-up three off. He's going to be able to get that pull-up mid-range shot off. His athleticism is a real advantage in a series like this, but he's a high-variance player. Sometimes he's hitting his pull-up jumper, and he's getting to the rim, and he's going off for 30-something points, and the Rockets are really tough to beat when that happens. The Rockets are 13-1 this year when Jalen Green scores at least 30 points. But he'll also have games where the jumper isn't falling, and he's over-penetrating, and he's making bad decisions at the rim, and missing layups, and falling on the ground, and leading to transition sequences, and Udoka will just bail on him if that happens. In fact, I think if you asked Ime Udoka, who's the 5 guys that you trust most to go down in this series, I think he'd say the starters, but I think he'd swap in Jabari Smith Jr. for Jalen Green. Jabari is a more reliable, higher floor, lower ceiling type of player who can hit spot-up threes, who can attack matchups from time to time. He had some success against smaller Warriors players this year, and he's a very gifted offensive rebounder that adds to the physical element that this team brings. When it's Amen Thompson and Alperen Sengun and Jabari Smith Jr. all on the floor together, this team can be really difficult to keep off of the offensive glass, and that's not even counting their bench groups when Steven Adams is out there. But the main problem for Houston, and the reason why I think the Warriors will eventually slow them down, is they just don't have enough shooting. You can load up on their better offensive players and tilt their offense towards catch-and-shoot threes for streaky shooters. The Rockets are bottom 10 in both three-pointers made and in three-point percentage this year, and they finished the year 22nd in overall half-court offense, according to Cleaning the Glass. That's really what it comes down to for me. I just think any potential problem that Houston can present for Golden State's offense is an even bigger problem for Houston on the other end of the floor. Even zone defense. The Warriors had a game against Houston back in February where they ran 15 possessions of zone and allowed just 3 points total in 15 possessions. 0.2 points per possession. So even zone, I feel like, would stand to damage Houston more than it would stand to hurt Golden State. So let's talk about some swing factors. Where could this series go off the rails for either team? Defense to transition. If the Warriors succumb to the ball pressure and the physicality, and they start getting sloppy with the ball, Houston can get out and run on them. And they are a much more efficient transition offense than they are a half-court offense. In fact, I do think Houston will win a couple of games in this series in that fashion. I wouldn't be surprised if for one of the games, likely either game 1 or game 5, if we saw Houston just beat the shit out of them, because Golden State just lets go of the rope and saves their legs and their energy to try to win the next game. That is where Houston will be successful, defense to transition. 2, Jalen Green's pull-up shooting. As I mentioned earlier, when Jalen Green has a scoring going, you lose to the Rockets. 13-1 this year when Jalen scores at least 30 points, even against good teams. Memphis lost like that. Minnesota lost like that. Denver lost like that. The Oklahoma City Thunder lost like that. My team, the Los Angeles Lakers, lost like that. The Clippers lost like that. All in those 13 teams to lose to Jalen Green scoring at least 30 points, those teams were among the fallen. So that is a big swing factor in this series. If Jalen Green just comes out and has a great series, the Warriors could very easily lose. Now, for the record, I don't think that will happen. I think it's more likely that it goes the other way with Jalen Green, that he really struggles and makes some bad decisions, and that Ime Udoka bails on him and he ends up having his minutes cut over the course of the series. That's what I think is going to happen. But the outcome of Jalen Green going off is always a possibility that we have to consider. And then lastly, role players jump shooting for both teams. A lot of catch and shoot threes in this series that both teams will kind of concede. For Houston, Dylan Brooks, Jabari Smith, Tari Eason, Amen Thompson. For Golden State, Moses Moody, Brandon Podziemski, Gary Payton II, Draymond Green. If one of those groups dramatically outshoots the other, it could swing this series. But that said, I do think that those shooters for Golden State are a little bit more reliable, and I think that Golden State will be able to do more damage than Houston can do in return. I'm picking the Warriors in 6 games. I think they split in Houston, win both games back in Golden State, lose game 5, and then close it out at home, if I had to guess the pathway of the series. But I think the Warriors are going to win in 6 games. I think there will be parts of the series where Houston goes on crazy runs. fueled by defense and forcing turnovers and getting out in transition. But outside of those runs, I think the Warriors are going to methodically out-execute them in the half court. I think this Warriors defense is really special, and I think they'll eventually strangle the life out of Houston and take care of business. All right, guys, that's all I have for today. As always, I sincerely appreciate you guys for supporting me and supporting the show. I will see you guys next time.